Sick of this? Well, Mr. Braincraft is here to help. This will be the first in a series of videos talking about how to play effectively in player versus player combat in Star Wars: The Old Republic. I'm Ness, and this is the Mr. Braincraft Gaming channel. First up is the Sith Sorcerer and Jedi Sage healing classes, advanced classes of the Sith Inquisitor and Jedi Consular respectively. I should start by talking about healers in general. They fill a very specific role in PvP and must be skillfully used to be effective. Healers generally have weak armor and low endurance, without the combat abilities of a DPS. Being so fragile, position and mobility are very important to success. That being said, I'll just jump right into the specific advice on healing with the Sorcerer. Please note though throughout this video, I'll be using a Sorcerer and naming Sorcerer abilities. That class is exactly the same as the Sage, and any advice I give can be used equally by both classes. Let's begin with one of the most important things about healing: position. Finding an effective position from which to heal can make the difference between effective healing and a dead healer. The first thing to consider when finding a position is cover. The healer's lack of defenses, coupled with the fact that they are so often a target for enemy DPS, means that you should find an area where you won't be noticed. See how the walls obscure me from the enemy team, but I can still see my target clearly? That's the best kind of position. Good things to look for are walls with gaps in them, low obstacles like crates and debris, and also verticality, cliffs, catwalks, and the like. Positioning is very important, and you should always be aware of your position to make sure that you're healing the most effectively you can for your team without getting killed. But what abilities you're using and how much you're healing per second is very important to keeping your target alive and supporting your team, which is really what healing is all about. So you should also pay attention to what abilities you're using. Now if you notice on my stat bar, I have my healing abilities set at 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. They're the easiest abilities to reach on the hotbar, and they're really the only abilities that I use regularly. I don't use combat abilities very often in PvP. Rarely ever do at all, actually, with this healer. I feel like there's enough healing going on that I can just be healing all the time. So unless there are no friendlies in sight at all, I rarely pop an attack ability. So as you can see, I'm using my healing abilities in a specific order. I'll just give you a rundown of how I have them set. This is all personal preference, but in the number 1 slot, I have your instant heal with no charge up. It has a cooldown, though. So I like to use that one right at the beginning. It's also handy because with certain advances in the skill tree, it gives a buff to all your other healing abilities, something that's pretty strong, and that's available pretty early on in the skill tree. But it's not always available to use. Then in the next slot is a constant heal, a channeled heal in the number 2 slot. I use it right there. It just heals steadily over a few seconds, and it's a pretty helpful move. Then in the number 3 slot I have my AoE heal, which I use sometimes, but not always. So those are the three of the abilities that I mainly use with my fingers on the buttons. My other abilities, I usually click the mouse, although occasionally I'll bring my finger over to tap it. Now what I'll do is I have 4 and 5 as my 2 charge up heals. 4 is the slightly weaker one that takes less time to charge up, but it costs more force per amount healed. 5 takes a little longer to charge up, but it's more force efficient. So that's what I'll do, and I'll rotate them, usually starting with 1. Then I'll either do 5 or 2 depending on the situation, and then if there's a good situation for it, I'll pop down 3, followed up by another 5 or 2. The opposite. If someone's about to die, I'll quickly pop 2 on them and then follow it with 4. But that's a pretty rare instance. If I don't think charge 5 will make the charge up. I actually barely ever use 4, except when I think someone's gonna die, or I need to heal them really fast because it's more time effective than 5. I should probably also mention shields and some other abilities that complement your normal healing moves. First of all, shields, I would just use them all the time. I think it's called static barrier, the shield I'm talking about. It barely costs any force, just pop it on anyone you possibly can. I actually have mine hotkeyed to E, so it's like super easy. And then also there's a couple other abilities that I like to use in conjunction with healing. One of them, I don't know what either of these are called, by the way. One of them gives you more alacrity, and the other one allows your healing abilities to crit a lot better. I would use both of them just pretty much as whenever they're ready. In an operation, I guess I would save them for the boss fight, but in PvP, just, use them whenever you have the chance. They're both really helpful. So, yeah. I think one of the other really important parts of healing is escaping when you're about to die. So you all know the time that you think you're going to get killed, and a strong healer would be able to escape from that. So this particular escape, I just was able to do because of this new change to the skill tree that you should all take. See, there's I just added a point. I just found out about this. It's a pretty nice thing. I suggest putting that in. So what it is in the top left, there's one point, and what it does is whenever your shield, your static barrier gets destroyed, your force speed automatically gets renewed. So just really handy. I suggest it. Now, so obviously there's a lot of situations that you're going to be escaping from, and a lot of, different types of escapes that you're going to use. But in general, this is a pretty basic formula. You want to start using your self-heal, which everyone gets. It's pretty simple. Pop that, and then if you're really low on health, you can use another heal, usually the one you can use while moving. And then force speed away. Possibly do all these heals while you're force speeding away, if it's available. And then you usually want to go off into the corner, like behind a crate, like here, and just heal yourself, Maybe there'll be another healer that'll help you out. That's always handy. So yeah, just escaping is pretty important. Something, you kind of get good at if you heal. Your muscle memory kind of thing. Your hands get used to escaping. Something I've gotten okay at, pretty good at. Although then there are other times when you just, you don't make it. The DPS is ranged and he knows where you are, he follows you, kills you, Those are sometimes unavoidable. Well, that's the basics of healing with the Sorcerer class. I hope you enjoyed watching the video and you use some of these techniques and helps you in your PvP. If you've noticed anything else that you find to be really helpful with the Sorcerer class, or think I'm wrong about something, feel free to post it in the comments. I'd love to see some responses to it. This is what I use in PvP, and I find it pretty successful. So just quick recap. Remember, you want to do position, you want to have good ability rotation, and then you want to be able to escape. So, those are the basics. Remember to subscribe to Brainy Dude's Braincraft channel, and like, comment, Anyway, thanks for watching.